Hello, hello, hello. I am so excited, to be here, and good evening wherever you're joining us from. Good morning, from wherever you're joining us from. And welcome to Family Circle Show where we discuss everything family. My name is Shelley Murphy, your host. And as always, I don't do this alone. I have she's not in yet. All right, she'll be joining us soon. Fabulous Camille Robb. She is a very phenomenal lady that has been on this journey with us from the very beginning. Okay, so she'll be joining us soon, and together we'll be hosting another sister. In fact, she has been on the show before. She is also a very phenomenal lady boss. She is a lifestyle entrepreneur, a relationship coach, and marriage consultant. She is executive director, Zizikel Foundation. And then again, she is an author of Getting Married and Staying Married. Now, I love the title of this book because it is one thing to be married, is another thing, to remain married, to stay in your marriage. So, and of course, according to the book, the book is a manual for the single and married couples. So I have with me my fabulous, who has just joined us. All right, fabulous, how are you doing? Good to have you on the show,
I am blessed and honored to be here. I'm
as
so
always.
excited. I cannot wait to learn all the gips and gaps about staying married and being a part of the impact of what happened to children because I was one of those children. But you didn't know
Yeah,
that. Mm-hmm.
it's always a learning platform for us each time we come on the show. So myself as well, I'm out to learn today because I know Keziah is out to give us back to back insightful knowledge on this topic because she is she is an expert in this industry about marriage counseling and all of that. So, and before you came in, I was just talking about the title of our book, which is Getting Married and Staying Married. I said
Ooh.
it's one thing for one to be married. It's another thing to remain in marriage, to stay there, to grow there, to
Yeah.
make positive impact, yeah, in your marriage. So I love the title of the book. And as we have her on, hello, Keziah. Good to have you on the show. Hello, Keziah. Can you hear me? Let me
She's
see that.
frozen.
She's frozen. Oh, wow. Hello. I can see her smile. Keziah, can you hear us? Okay, very quickly, while we. Hello, Keziah. Can you hear us?
She's trying to say something. I can see her mouth moving.
Can see her mouth moving too. Okay, so we are out to talk about a very important topic. For us, it's like she's saying something. I don't know, because I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Tell her to come. Desire, you come out and come back in. Sign out
Please,
and come back in. And that would make
yeah.
a difference.
Okay, so we are here to talk about a very important topic because there is no way we can, try to shy away from this conversation. In about let's say five marriages, you are bound to meet at least one or two with with a stepchild,
Mm,
or let me put it this way, with a partner who had a relationship before, even if not legally married, but had a relationship with someone, and a child was involved. So we are bound to see that. And in so many cases, we have issues around, the new partner accepting the fact, the new partner, flowing with the new normal, you know. All of
yep.
these issues are always there. And it's not easy. Honestly, raising a child of your own, is not easy. And of course, being there, caring for your marriage, building and nurturing your marriage is not easy, not to talk of bringing another child that is not yours into the picture. So now I want us to share our view on this before Keziah comes in. The
Well,
impact on this on the stepchildren or stepchild in a marriage. What do you think could be the negative? Okay, maybe negative or positive. Is there a positive impact around that? Definitely there should be. What do you think? What would be your opinion on this if, for instance, you were the one in this situation? How would you be able to accept or not accept the fact? Come here. Hello, Keziah. Are we good? Can you hear us? Oh wow. Fabulous. You're frozen. Fabulous. Can you hear me? What is going on today? I think Keziah is back. Let me do this. Keziah? Hello, Keziah. Okay, so while we wait for my guests to come back on, we are actually having network, issues here. So I just want to touch on this topic, sharing my view on this topic. So, in a situation where there is an existence of a child or a stepchild or stepchildren, the desired step, first and foremost, for me, I would say is for the couple. Okay, yeah.
I don't know. I was talking, and then all of a sudden, poof, you disappeared.
No, I didn't disappear.
But
You
could you
were
could you could
frozen.
you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So as I was saying, for me, my dad was married 4 times. So I've experienced it
Mm,
4 times, and all four
wow.
times was bad. All 4 times
Okay.
was bad. So when I was younger, the first wife didn't like me. The second one hated me.
Mm,
The third one despised me.
wow.
The
Hmm.
last one was okay with me, but she wouldn't give me a chance to spend time with my dad. She would take him
Okay.
every birthday come around. She would take him every Father's Day come around. She would take him. She just, and because I want peace with him, I leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
I leave it alone. I tolerate people because of who they're involved with. When I was younger, I mean, the last one, the second one, yeah, the third one tried to kill me. She tried to
Uh-uh.
poison me.
To
She
that
tried to
extent.
poison me. She tried to poison me. You know,
Wow.
She tried every means necessary was to hurt me because I'm the only daughter for my dad. You know, I'm the firstborn for my dad, the only daughter,
Okay.
because he has, with my mom, he has three children with my mom. So I have two younger brothers. But they, for some reason, they hated me, and I'm like, why? And I have children that I've dealt with all over the world, and I love them. And I'm like, why would you hate a child? A child has nothing to do with it. Why would you hate them?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But they all hated me. All hated me, except the
So
last
now,
one. She don't.
hmm,
She claims she doesn't
okay.
hate me, but she doesn't want me around my dad. So I think she hates me too. So
She
that's me.
was
I don't
jealous.
care. And she's gonna see this and say something, but it is what it is.
Okay, and now I quite understand, you know, your experience, what you just shared. But then I sometimes find it difficult why women, because of course this happens around women, why women feel so indifferent, feel so uncomfortable when it comes to your your husband's child, your husband having a child and the child comes around or the child lives with you. I don't know why women, particularly feel that way. And of course, if you are a true mother, whether you have yours or not, the ideal thing is to accept, who the child of your husband, because if you love your husband, you should be able to accept his child. But the area that I have issues here is some husbands or
Uh huh.
some
Go
men,
out and cheat and
not
get kids in the marriage.
no, not even before then.
Oh,
My
before that.
my area is for some men, they may not disclose the fact that they have a child,
Mm-hmm.
before they meet you. Just some will say things like, I don't want a situation where the lady will say no to me, will not want to continue the relationship, because you hear about a child being involved. And of course, the same thing goes to the women as well. Some ladies too that have children, before they meet the man, will also do the same, keeping that facts away from your partner.
Facts.
Because I actually had a friend, back then when we were young. She had a child. In fact, this one, she did it in a way that even to me as friend, as roommate, we were living together. She kept the secret. The child actually came to live with us and she was saying, this is my brother and his aunt or whatever. Until one day
What?
the boy had to open up and say, why is my mother always saying that I'm a brother? I said, what do you mean your mother? So
That's kind of
so many
sad.
people, yeah, so many people, because of stigma, because of what, you know, fear of rejection, try to put this fact away. And into marriages, it goes down to crumble the happiness and joy of a home, honestly. So me particularly, I've not had experience of such. um my father, my mother, they just stick to one. But then around
That's
me,
nice.
there
That's
are
nice.
cases, there are cases around. And of course there are cases which you have dealt with in the marriage counseling, arena. And it is so pathetic, and that's why we have brought up this issue for us to talk about, because it is high time we address some of these things so that we could give people a headway on a knowledge on what to do when they find themselves in it. So I would start by saying that if you're a man, if you're a woman, and you have a child, and something happened to your relationship and you're no longer together, you're moving forward with another person. Of course, life, we are free. We make our choices. You should not keep that away from your partner. Don't keep that away. Don't bring it up for discussion before marriage thing, before you know whether you're going in or not. Because sometimes somebody may decide, no, I don't want to go, I don't want to be a stepmom, I don't want to be a stepdad. So it's either you discuss it early enough before you forge ahead in the relationship, so that you know where you are, you know where the both of you are, so that you avoid these issues. Because I've actually had a case which I tried to settle, where the lady said, I wasn't aware he had a child. After marriage, he came in with a grown-up child.
What?
Yes. Hmm.
I'm
He
sorry.
said,
You and that
my,
grown up child got to go.
this is my son. And the lady was
That's
like, the
messed
wife was
up.
like, your son from where? He said, my past relationship, and he's coming to stay with us just like that.
No,
And that
no,
was
no, no.
where
I'm moving
the
out. I'll
issues
move out.
started.
I'll move out.
You're moving out. So
Yes,
you will leave your marriage.
yes. Come on now. If I'm married to you
Mhm.
and it's you and I all this time, and all of a sudden you're gonna bring a kid in and say this is my kid from, so why didn't you tell me all this? Why didn't you explain that to me before? So right now this whole thing was built on a lie. You know,
So
if you don't
that's
know,
what we're
I
trying.
understand.
Mhm.
If you don't know, I understand that. But come on, if a woman surprised you and say, hey, we dated and for 3 years and I hid this from you, I understand. You come to me and say, hey,
Mhm.
I didn't know that I had a child out there. But if you know you have a child out there and you lie about it, ooh, you and I are going to have a serious conversation. I'm sorry. It's not the child's fault. It's the person that knew about it. That's their fault.
Hoo-hoo. It's not the child's fault. It's a person
Not
that knew about it that
exactly.
has a fault. Absolutely. I am so glad that we have Keziah. I think the network is good now. Keziah, can you hear us? Okay.
Yes, yes,
Okay, great. We can hear you. Woohoo!
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, we
Hmm.
can hear you, Keziah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Sorry about that. My network dropped.
Okay. It's cool. It's okay.
It's
All
okay.
right. So very quickly, let's get into the deal. It is high time for us to hear from the horse's mouth because, like I used to say, I tried introducing you, but I don't know if I missed something out or I added something that is not what, that is not what you are. So tell us a bit more about who Keziah Twumasi is, and of course, a little about how you're growing up worse, Keziah.
Okay. Um, Thank you for the privilege, Shirley. I always say there are a lot of people out there who can do much better. So anytime someone
Mm-hmm.
invites you, it's just a privilege, and I'm so grateful for this privilege. You've done the introduction. The network didn't let me hear, but to everybody listening and watching, a little aspect I just wanted to add. Keziah Twumasi, just like Shelley had already introduced, I'm in my late 40s, a born again Christian who is neither churchy nor religious. I'm a Ghanaian woman who wants to live a full life. I grew up in a polygynous family. I didn't say polygamous, I said polygynous family, where my father had 3 wives and 13 children. I
Woo.
experienced real riches as a little girl. Yeah. In 1988, 83, there was a famine in my country. And trust me, many people depended on my dad for their daily bread. And yet, by the time I went to secondary school, we were broke, 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 broke. You see, so all things work together is what I was able to deduce from my childhood. And because of that, I was able to build paradigms such that I can survive anywhere. Nonetheless, I equally understand that I deserve all the best that life has to offer. So I'm therefore always looking for opportunities that can support me to become better, the highest expression of myself. So I grew up like any other child on the block, from being pampered to learning to fend for yourself. And that is my childhood.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. Well, just like it's often being said that sometimes when you go through some stuff in life, you may begin to think that yours is the worst until you hear from another person. And that's why I say all the time you should give thanks to God, because you don't know what others have gone through. You don't know what
Mm-hmm.
others are going through. With the little you've just shared about your story, it it showed that it wasn't all rosy, and you have been able to, despite all the challenges, despite all the odds, you have been able to get a beautiful life for yourself. And of course, you are out there also trying to give the same back to others by impacting positively and adding value to other people's lives. Thank you so very much. Then I heard what when you talked about your family line, the number of children your father had, and wow, woo, hmm
Mm-hmm. For
wow.
real. He wanted his own football team. Woo!
In fact, that was more than a football team with a referee,
Yeah, football team with extra guys and also, part-time
In
people.
fact, but we thank God that despite all of that, all I know, and I believe all of you are all grown up now, and you are taking care of yourselves. Okay, I know Camille, over to you. I know you have a question
Yes,
for Keziah before we
it's
move
it's
ahead.
such a pleasure to have you here, and I cannot wait to hear your feedback on all the different questions that we have. So, as my dad has 4 marriages, so I'm a stepchild. So, the impact on stepchildren in marriages, as a family coach, what is the impact would you say this has in any marriages?
Okay, many a time when we talk of impact, everybody is looking at the negativity of it. When it comes to stepchildren in marriage and its impact, it can be positive or negative depending on how you manage or handle the situation. It can be negative such that every feeling that one had for a spouse can just be drained just because of the stepchildren. Every feeling, every emotion, every chemistry can just be drained. That's the negative aspect of it. And then it can be so much positive such that even when a partner is not treating the spouse properly at a particular time, because of the respect and the love from these stepchildren, the other partner, the parent, the spouse can look at these children and hold on until situations are sorted out. So everything depends on how these partners are able to handle the situation. It can be negative and it can be positive too.
Yeah, and just like you rightly put, it can of course be positive. In fact, on a greater scale, it can be positive if only the couples are ready, agree together to raise positive children, irrespective of the circumstances and all of that. So now, in a situation where there is an existence of a stepchild or stepchildren, whatever the case may be, what should be the desired step that the parents involved supposed to take before getting into marriage? Because I'm asking this in respect to the fact that I was sharing with Camille before you came in of a lady that was married with her husband. They were happy, in marriage. And all of a sudden, after like 2 years, the husband just came in one day and said, "This is my son." Grown up boy from nowhere. And this was never, talked about. This, in fact, the lady said she never even heard it as a rumor from anywhere that, something must have happened somewhere, somehow. So, what's supposed to be the desired approach or step that the parent involved supposed to take before going into marriage with a new partner?
Great, a beautiful question. Before I dive into the answer, let me just chip in this. Just like I told you, I'm a born again Christian and I believe in the word of God. Proverbs chapter 24, verse 3 and 4 says, and I like the amplified version because it gives me greater understanding into it. It says, through skillful and godly wisdom, a house. And that version goes ahead to explain what that house is. A life, a home, a family is built. And by understanding it is established on a source, a sound and good foundation. The verse 4 says, and by knowledge its rooms are filled with precious and pleasant riches. What do I mean? Everything you want to establish in the relationship, you start whilst you are dating and courting. Okay. The US Census Bureau reports that 50% of all marriages end in divorce. 75% of these divorced couples remarry, and 66% of cohabitating or the remarried couples break up when children are involved. That
Yes.
tells you how difficult it is to raise children, especially from other marriages. Is it different or better in Africa? No, not at all. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of these statistics to show and buttress our case. But these numbers clearly reflect the challenge of blending a family through remarriage. Okay, so the process of adjusting to a new family dynamic is difficult for everybody, everyone involved, and it can result in problems within the marriage. Okay, when I talk of the family dynamics, I mean how the forces at work within the family, how the interactions are done along with the resultant behavior. So, just like I said to the answer now, everything you want to establish in the home must be practiced during courtship and then dating. Number one, create an atmosphere for your children to connect with your partner whilst dating and courting. Don't wait for surprises to emerge. It is not accepted. It's not right. It's not a good thing to be done. Okay. If you're a single person without a child, you can just date and marry. Once you have a child, do yourself a favor and give your partner the respect enough to let your partner know that you have a child, you have children. And then number two, review these interactions. If there are other children, what that means is the woman has children, the man has children from previous relationship. Let those children also meet and interact so they know one another. Then nothing would by any means surprise you in the way. When they meet, review these meetings and interactions. Okay, don't just take it from granted that allow them to go out so things are working. No, you wouldn't know. Don't take for granted, number one, verbal, how they say the things to one another, to each other, if just a child to your partner, how your partner relates to them, speaks to them, even the body language. So I have the three V's, what I call the verbal, the visual, and then the vocal, how they speak. When they are speaking, the body language, even the tone they use when they are interacting, don't take them for granted because the foundation you are going to build upon. And
Matters.
if you don't deal with it today, when you get into the relationship, it'll be a problem. Discuss the children and what role you expect. You would expect and you allow your partner to play in these children's life. As Africans, we just assume that because he loves me and wants to marry me, he's going to place his name on my children, pay their school fees, give them spiritual oversight and all that. You are not supposed to assume. You have to discuss them. And if you are the man too, don't just think because she's the woman and she loves you, she's going to transfer that love onto your children. What role will you want her to play in these children's lives? So you discuss all these things. And then more importantly, within the courtship and dating time, spend time together as a family and then as a couple, whereby you can pay attention to all these signals and you'll be able to do what must be done earlier before you get in. And then finally, create a united front when it comes to rules and discipline. Don't just assume that things will work out, not at all. They're already from different homes and now you are rebuilding, bringing them to a different. The thing that their biological parents will do to them and they will accept them. If it's coming from the other partner, they can see it as a punishment, whereby they can take it from you as a correction. And there's the difference between correction and punishment. So set these boundaries such that you know who is doing who. For instance, if you're having a challenge with your stepchild, you can let your partner understand that when you are not at home, I have a challenge with one, two, three, four. So I would allow you to take the role by being enforcing discipline until such a
Discipline.
time that they would get together and accept you as the parent figure. So all these things, you are not supposed to assume anything that when you marry it would work out. You would have to discuss them even into detail, such that when you marry, you are now going to build upon those foundations. Okay.
Yeah, I know this is one of the, in fact, a major mistake married couples do. In fact, generally about marriage, about issues around marriage, when you assume that, no, for instance, there are some things you don't like about your partner. You feel, no, don't worry, he will change or she will change over time. It will get better when we get married and all of that. And before you know it, when you get married, if you discover that everything is becoming worse and you can't cope, before you know it, you begin to think, what else should I do? Should I just get somebody outside? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should I stay? Should I not stay? So all of these issues, just like you have mentioned, are things that are supposed to be discussed before you get married. And particularly just like you talked about, ensuring that, for instance, if you had a child before you meet your new partner, ensure that your partner and your children or your child gets to know each other before your own children, the children that you give birth to or he will give, you have together comes in. Because there are cases where the former, the other partner had a child, and when they got married, they also have a child together. And because
Okay.
the case of bringing the other child into the picture wasn't there. And as this other child grew up, entered into the world or the society, you know, some way, somehow, met this other girl. And before you know it, they fell in love. And before you know it, and they say they want to get married. Oh, yeah, bring your partner home. When the partner came, the woman discovered that, oh, this is my son somewhere that I
Right.
had many years back. I decided to keep it, keep mute about it so that, I will not lose my husband. I will not lose all of this. So at the end of the day, you have twisted, you have destroyed those children's life. In fact, their love life, their everything. So it is very key. There is no secret about it. It has happened. It has happened. They said egg that was in your hand has already fallen. You can't pack it. So you can't pick it up. So thank you so very much, Keziah, for this insight about this. And Camille, you have a question for?
You know, I'm listening to it when it says I can see this as a punishment. I was like that. I've always seen it as a punishment because when it comes to my dad, I love my dad. And when I explain to his wives, he's gonna be my dad regardless. I don't care who comes in or go. He's gonna always be my dad. And they get
Mhm.
offended and
Yeah.
they find a way to punish me. One will punish me by trying to poison me. The other one will punish me by trying to keep him away from me. And because I want peace in my dad life, I stay away from him so he can live his life. But it's common for
Yeah.
women to feel indifferent, especially in this case right now about their stepchildren and to even to a greater extent to result where they maltreat them. Why is this so dark? Why is this so?
Yeah. Before I come to this question, let me just chip in this to the last thing you just said. One of the sessions I had a story, and when everybody was laughing loud, it just hits me so hard. Couples who had children from previous relationships and they got together. So there was an issue, and then this is what the children were saying. Your children and my children are beating our children. And it sounded so funny to everybody, but then it hits me so hard. Do you understand what that means? Your
Yes.
children and my children are beating our children. Okay. So many a time, if the children are wiser enough and they are peaceful enough, all they have to do is to stay back and allow their parents, whether the father or the mother, to enjoy the relationship, which is not supposed to be, because that child also needs to be cared for. Okay. So back to your question, seriously, I don't get it at all. In our part of the world, our socialization makes people, both men and women, form erroneous paradigms when it comes to marriage. Very, very wrong. And sometimes I have to throw it back to us. We are women. We are raising the children. How are children so? A typical primitive African man would think that because he's paid a bride price of a woman, he owns her as part of his property and can treat her anyhow. Women marry
Anyhow.
and they think that, they,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
and women marry and they think women marry for many majority of women marry for security and for support, for protection, and they see the man as their future, I mean, exploits or to gain everything, the man's estate. So everything the man has, they would have to make sure they drive everybody away, which is very, very wrong. The woman's family can just visit without an invitation. They can stay, they can enjoy the man's wealth, and yet the man's family would have to need permission. It is just
before
wrong.
before
It is
visiting.
just before visiting, even enjoying, even the little normal support that the man would do for his family. So they see these stepchildren as threats. It is normal. Everything is just normal. All they went into the marriage for is security and then to get the man's estate. So if they drive everybody away, then it means they have access to the man, which is very, very wrong. Okay. Because I tell people, every wife at a point is going to be an in-law too. Today,
Yes.
you marry to
Yes.
somebody, you want to drive away his stepchildren, even everybody. Your children are equally going to marry. And one thing we forget is every human seed, every human action is a seed. It is a seed you are sowing today. Okay. Whatsoever a man soweth, that he would
That you
also
shall
reap.
reap.
Did not the seed God is not more? For
Yeah.
whatever a man soweth, he can also reap. Okay, this is a law that is not only to the vegetable world, but to our bodies and even spirits. As long as the earth remains, there would be seed time and harvest time. So I want women to change this narrative. Your stepchild is not your enemy at
No.
all. We
Say it
marry
No,
again.
and we
no.
Say
teach the
it
men to take care of
again.
your stepchild is not your enemy
Right.
or your rival. No. We marry as women, we want the men to cater for, even pamper our children more than the children they have with us. And yet they bring their children into the marriage and we turn them into enemies, destroying the relationship they have with their fathers. It is very, very evil. And I want women to stop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have heard her right. I'm coming. I'm coming. I want to put this out there. Your stepchild is not your
Your
enemy,
enemy.
neither is your stepchild your rival. So I don't know what gets into some women because this issue revolves around us as women, and just like Keziah has said, she doesn't know why. I don't know why. I don't know about Camille. Camille, do you know why women feel so
I don't. I
indifferent when it
don't.
comes?
I don't. I'm still. When now I'm looking back at the relationship my dad had and the stuff. How they try. My dad, he has only three children. Three. There's no other children apart from the ones that he married a woman with four kids. He married a woman with three kids. There's no other outside kids. It's just, that I know of. It's just my mom, my dad, my two brothers, and myself. That's the only kids I know about. I don't know about anything else. But in the marriage, what I find is that they penalize us. You know, I'm expecting to be treated like everybody else. My brothers are expecting to be treating like everybody else because this is our dad. Our dad married you. You have no kids with our dad. We come together. We're supposed to become a family and grow together as a family. But no, it's like, oh, separation. Oh, he got to take care of my kids. He got to take care of my kids. This is this is it. No, he has one daughter and two sons. When he
Yeah.
married you, and the children become one. But you got to always remember, one daughter, two children, two sons. The rest of us is stepchildren. But my dad have always treated the stepkids them as if they were his. But the wives never treat us as if we were his. It's like
Women.
the woman just gets so caught up in their head and build up this fear. Now, let me ask you a question now. As an African woman, a mother, a parent, if you were in this situation, what would you do differently?
Yeah, are you done with your question?
Yes.
Yes, I think so. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What I normally
What
tell
would you do
people
different?
is, yes, I would do a lot differently because number one, if I don't love a man enough knowing he has children, I will not even go into that relationship, that marriage. And I don't know why a lot of people do. Now I am answering, so I'm speaking for myself now. I'll do a lot of things differently. Why? In the
So
beginning, it's
hold on,
difficult.
Keziah. Keziah, before you continue. Hello, Keziah.
Yeah,
Hello,
yeah, I'm
Keziah.
right here. I'm here.
Before you continue, so that you can add it up. What if, because this is a fresh issue of the presence of any child before you got married to this man that you love so much,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, you
Hmm.
know, the case of a child or issue of a child just comes out of the blues.
So
So go ahead.
precisely, I would have, I would have, I would have addressed all together because some of them just show up. One thing we do forget is the fact that you get married doesn't mean a lot of things would happen along the way. Some men, even women won't tell you, not because they disrespected you, not because they didn't want to give you the truth, but some were afraid at the beginning that they're going to lose you. Some you didn't give them the
Talk
atmosphere to
about,
build
yeah,
so
fear
much
of.
trust that they can open up and
Mhm.
share with you. When you get into the marriage and you begin treating them so well, they realize this is a trustworthy person I can build my life with, I can open up and share. Then they can confidently enough confide in you and tell you. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't handle that maturely. And instead of them seeing it as a blessing, then it becomes a burden onto them. So I'm taking it from every angle, regardless of where these children would come from. As long as they belong to my husband, they are mine. They are mine. When we marry and it is well with us, we claim everything. Children are equally a blessing. Why would children come along the line? Nobody planned for that. Nobody get married and say, I'm going to cheat on my wife or my husband. But things do happen. If I can be on the road and do good to a stranger, I can as well love my husband's children and love them very, very well. So, what I would do differently that I recommend to other people, I don't expect everybody to live my life, but I can only recommend. Number one, regardless of the ages of these children, I am the mother and I am supposed to act maturely regardless of the ages of these children. By virtue of me marrying their father, I am the mother and I can mother these children so much well. Okay. In the beginning, things might be difficult for these children depending on how the breakup of their parents happened. Okay. So these stepchildren are probably upset that their family split up. It is not my fault. I would try I would try to put myself in their shoes for a moment going through divorce, changing homes, adjusting to a new family. They are all super difficult experiences. It's totally normal for them to feel upset and angry at that particular moment. And since I am the new addition onto the family, it means I make the easy target for them to, I mean, pour down their pain and their anger and their frustrations on. I understand that as a mother. I will try not to take their words and behaviors personally. Why? Yes, I know it really hurts to have stepchildren who treat you poorly. Sometimes you can be kind, you can be amazing step parents, and they would still act as they hate you. I will try and remember that they are just hurting, and hurting people hurt others. So they are not hurting me because they hate me. They are just hurting me because they are so much full of hurt, and that is why it will be in my own interest to help them heal soonest. Because once they heal, they won't hurt me anymore. They would come now with understanding. Okay. So what I would do is, if these stepchildren are very young, I will invite them to play and just have fun with me. I would be their friend if they are teens. I will ask them to be a part of planning the household so that they would also feel involved. They are teenagers. I will take them as I'll be their friend.
Yeah.
In every situation, I will assure them that they can talk to me. I will give them that assurance that the time will come, we'll bond so much together, they wouldn't know. But one thing we all forget is it doesn't happen automatic. It takes between 3 to 5 years for stepchildren to understand that, oh, you didn't just come to separate us from our parents. You only came to love
Yes.
us and to care for us. So now they
To
will
love
open up.
us more.
So you would have to be the mother and come from the point of maturity and love, regardless of what they throw at you.
Mm-mm-mm.
Wow.
Very powerful.
Wow. Powerful words.
Very powerful.
Wow. I hope somebody out there is learning something.
Ooh, I'm learning something.
Women, we have a lot to do, and whatever happens, falls back at us as women. You know, you have a responsibility to accept these children as your own children. As in fact, this no matter what the case may be, whether you're is a woman or the man, because of course sometimes the ball rolls the other way around, where you have the man, the wife had a child before getting married to you. Some men too find it difficult to, accept this child, accept the children, and in fact, it is so sad that sometimes you hear issues of rape from the man to the children,
Mm-hmm.
the stepdaughters, because I see her as she's not my child, you know, and all of those negative things. So, but because of time, we want to quickly ask that you share in a bit to changing the narrative, because that is what we are out to do on this platform, to help restore family values, help to change the narrative. What should couples going forward do? Share your words of wisdom or words of advice to couples or single parents out there that are planning to go into marriages in future. Keziah.
Right. Thank you very much for that also. But quickly, just a minute. Just like you said, the rape equally hits me so hard, and I can't just close without saying anything about it. If you bring in your children into the marriage, despite the fact that your spouse would accept them and love them, you equally you have the right to protect these children. For instance, you are the woman, you bringing in girls to get married to your husband. Don't forget, these children do not have the DNA of your husband. So attraction can set in. What he can't do to his biological children, it is likely he can do to your daughters. So don't just be there and be ignorant and think that, oh, because he loves them and he accepts them as his children, nothing will happen. Just make sure you protect these children because everything is possible. Okay. It's something that women take for granted. And before you
Yeah.
open your eyes, a lot of things are going so much wrong.
A lot
You
of,
have to
yeah.
protect your daughter. Not because you are married to a bad man, but everything can happen. More importantly, when they don't have his DNA, a lot of attraction can set along the line that both of you would need to address it. Okay. In a bid to changing the narrative, that's the reason why we are here. Okay. Number one, love your spouse deeply and dearly. Not this fake love and scam that we think marriage is just keeping a home, keeping a family. If you are bringing in children to the family or you are married, remarry, and what can help your partner to love your children unconditionally is the love that you would give to them. Love them so much that they would be able to, transfer that love unconditionally to your children. But many a time, what you see happening is this man, this woman has brought his or her children into the home, whereby he's even an absent father. He doesn't take part of anything in the home. So it's like the children have become a burden onto your spouse. Nothing in the home matters to you. You don't love and care for this woman, and so you want her to give what she can't even give. Many of these people don't even have their own children yet, and yet, out of frustration, they don't know whether these children will accept them, whether these children will love them, and you, the man, you are still absent and quiet. You can't even discipline your own children. You can sit back as a woman and watch your children disrespect your spouse, and it doesn't make your partner have the energy to live on. So love your spouse deeply, dearly. Your love for him or her would empower and cushion him or her to love your children unconditionally. Number two, always be proactive instead of reactive. Don't wait for things to happen before you come and start looking for solutions. Just pay attention to what is happening in the home and be a part of it. You can assess it, you can accept them and treat them just like your biological children. It is just the mindset issue. Okay. Let the children know and understand that you are together in raising them. Whether they are your children or you are the other parent, be together and let these children know that you are together in raising them. Very, very important. Don't discuss your concerns with your stepchildren. It doesn't matter how they hurt you. Let their parents deal with them. Very, very important. Don't discuss your concerns with your stepchildren. It doesn't matter how they hurt you. Let the parents deal with them until they accept you as a parent figure. Okay? Don't complain about the other parents to them too. Your father is like this, your mother is like this, and you're no, not at all. Don't do that. Okay? And then communicate your needs and expectations at all times through all changing seasons. When you realize your children are picking some habits that you are not comfortable with, don't just assume that it will just go away. Don't just assume that your partner is supposed to accept them. What that means is periodically have a conversation. Be observant, be part of the growing up of the children, be part of what is happening in their life, and don't take anything for granted at all. But what it means is for you to love and respect your partner so much, for your partner to know that you are together with it. And last but not the least, let us learn to respect our stepchildren also. In our part of the world, adults only receive, accept, respect, demand it, request all the adjectives without knowing that these children would also accept, respect, and care from us as parents. So respect your stepchildren. The things you can't even say to your own biological children, you are saying to your stepchildren, it is bad. The things you can't do to your own children, you are doing them to your stepchildren. It is very, very evil. Love all of them together. More importantly, if you also come to have children or both of you brought children, don't let there be division in the home. Treat all the children equally. Let them know that you love all of them equally. Don't disconnect yourself. If there's a family gathering, you say, I won't attend because it has to do with my spouse's children. No, once you are in the home setting, all the children belong to you.
To
So
you.
even if your partner is taking them, it has to do with their life, their education, be a part of their life. Don't leave raising them to only your partner because the children belong to them. No, you will not you will not be able to command the respect and the love and the admiration of these children. Let them know you are part of their lives, although you are not their biological parent.
Amazing. Amazing. Wow. Okay. If there's nothing else I took from the powerful words of advice, is that as adults, you should love our children, love the children around you, and most importantly, respect the children, respect every child around you. Because um, Bible says you should love yourself, love your neighbors as you love yourself. So let me put it that way: love your neighbor as you love yourself. And when they talk about neighbor, does not mean that the person living the next compound is your neighbor. The person very close to you is your neighbor, very very close to you. What you
Right.
wouldn't love, what you wouldn't want somebody do to you, don't do to another person. So what you wouldn't want another person do to your child, don't do it to another, because it's not your own. You're not the one that push it. After 9 months, you push, and you came out. No, no, no. What you wouldn't want somebody do to your child or do to you, don't you ever try to give to another person, because what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. Thank you so very much. We are really pressed on time, but I want to give Fabulous a few seconds to say something, rounding up. Fabulous.
Um, you know what? I got a lot of respect for you, Doc, because you put it out there and you said it just like it's supposed to be told. You know, the stepchild doesn't have anything to do with it. They did not decide to come into this world on their own. And if you're going to be a part of a family, treat everyone equal. You know, if you know about it, talk about it. Have a conversation,
Mhm.
sit down and share what you learn. And so you could get together and become one family. Yes, I'm a stepchild. And in order for me to keep peace with my dad, I step back because I don't want my dad to be uncomfortable. I don't want my stepmother to be uncomfortable. So I step back. As a woman, if I end up with a stepchild for some reason or end up, no, that's not going to happen because I'm going to tell you right now. If anything happened to my husband, I'm not on the market. I'm done. Okay. I'm just going to just stick to what I know. Take care of the kids. I'm sorry. So, anybody out there looking, I'm not available. If anything happened to my husband, I'm still not available. Okay. I'm going to leave it like that. Thank you so much, Doc, for coming in. We appreciate the knowledge that you share, and I've learned a lot. And for the family that are out there, listen, okay? Make it work. Talk to each other. Have a conversation. It can make a difference.
Absolutely. Wow. Camille has already added her voice. Let's come together, agree together to
Yeah.
raise these children positively
Yes.
so we can all have positive leaders, so we can change the world to become a positive world for all of us. Because by the time you put in negative pressures, negative emotions around these children, they go out and become something else. They go out and become what they wouldn't, ordinarily want to become negative as well. And of course, the society becomes, what we are seeing today. It
Yes.
has been an amazing time. In fact, it's like we should continue. I'm just, you know,
Part two.
gathering more. Yeah, of course, definitely. We're gonna bring
Part two.
Keziah. She's
He
so
has the
awesome.
information we want,
Yeah,
and the
Keziah,
world
thank you
want to
so
hear it.
much for
Thank you.
pouring out, this knowledge, pouring out all of this for us, and of course to our viewers. Thank you for adding value on this table. Then, how can people connect with you, Keziah, before you step up? And of course, that your book, being married. Is it getting married and staying married? Yeah, I love the title of that book. I should get one. Okay, so how can people connect with you, Keziah?
It's not the getting that matters, but the staying.
It's
So
been
I'm on
together.
all social media at Facebook, Instagram, Keziah.Twumasi, at Keziah Twumasi on Twitter, and I'm on Clubhouse too. I do weekly messages out there. So Keziah Twumasi is my name. You can find me on all the social media apps.
Amazing. Thank you so
Thank
very much.
you.
So you have heard from Keziah on how you can connect with her.
Welcome.
You can learn more about these conversations with Keziah so you can make your marriage, your family, your life a better one with Keziah. So we are coming to the end of the show. In fact, it has been an insightful, it has been an educative, it has been, I don't know what else, informative, entertaining, you name it.
Real. It's been real.
It has
I
been
love
a
that part
real
about it. It's
session.
been
Yes, a
real.
real session with Keziah, to Mercy, sharing, powerful words and nuggets with us on this topic, impact of stepchildren in marriages. It could be negative, but we are looking at the positive side, how we can all make our marriages, even with our stepchildren, a positive one, a memorable one, that the children will look back and say, wow, I love you, mom. I love you better than, I don't want to say something else. So thank you so very much, ladies. And that's all we can take on today's
Welcome, my
episode
dear.
of the show. we hope we catch up next week. So thank you and bye bye. Stay blessed and stay absolutely fabulous.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
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 Okay.
Stay blessed, stay safe, and stay absolutely fabulous, darlings.
Fabulous. Okay.